sir. Major Capers, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. I know you're a very busy man, so it means a lot that you took time out of your very busy schedule to come sit down with me. I think that your story is extremely valuable, and I guarantee there's a lot of people that are going to gain some benefit from hearing about your experiences, your perspectives, some of the things that you've gone through, both pre-service, during service, and also post-service. So for people that don't know much about who Major Capers is, I wanted to read a quick bio just to give you a brief conceptualization of who this gentleman sitting next to me here is. Okay, so Major Capers was born on August 25th, 1937 in South Carolina to a family of sharecroppers during the Jim Crow era. He later moved to Baltimore where he would meet the love of his life and future wife, Dottie, and decide to enlist in the Marines. This would be the start of a legendary career that overcame obstacles, broke barriers on and off the battlefield as one of the greatest Marines to ever serve. While serving, he would be selected to join the elite Force Recon Marine unit where he excelled, breaking training records, participating in 64 long-range reconnaissance patrols, and 5 major campaigns in Vietnam. He was a natural leader and a father figure to Team Broadminded, a specialized group of Force Recon Marines. Capers and Team Broadminded were routinely selected to go on the most dangerous and clandestine missions in Vietnam. Missions included a POW rescue mission ordered by President Johnson himself, amphibious assaults in the DMZ, recovery of a B-57 rumored to have a nuclear bomb, and search and destroy patrols in Phu Loc. A soft-spoken man, his commendations offer an inspiring view of his heroism and self-sacrifice. Nominated for the Medal of Honor, he has been awarded the Silver Star, 2 Bronze Stars and a Combat V, 3 Purple Hearts, Vietnam Cross of Gallantry, a Joint Service Commendation Medal, Combat Action Ribbon, 3 Good Conduct Ribbons, Battle Stars, Navy Commendation Medal, Navy Achievement Medal, CG Certificate of Merit, multiple letters of merit, appreciation, and commendation. As an African-American, his achievements include being the first African-American to command a Marine Recon company and the first enlisted African-American Marine officer to receive a battlefield commission, which, for those of you that don't understand what a battlefield commission is, that just doesn't happen anymore. You don't ever see that. So that's extremely rare, period. Just to give you an idea of how big of a deal that is. In the fall of 1967, still recovering from combat injuries, Major James Capers was selected to represent the U.S. Marines in a national recruiting campaign. With full integration completed only in 1960, Capers' image became the Marine Corps' most popular recruitment campaign. Following Vietnam, Capers participated in many Cold War covert operations as a field agent in Eastern Europe and Africa. Details of these operations remain classified today. His wife Dottie and son Gary passed away in 2003 and were buried in Arlington National Cemetery. Capers celebrated his 50th anniversary with Dottie 1 week prior to her passing. In 2010, Major James Capers was one of only 14 members inducted into the inaugural class of U.S. Special Operations Command's Commando Hall of Honor at a ceremony in front of U.S. SOCOM headquarters at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida. Major Capers Jr. is recognized as a pioneer in recon training tactics, which are still used by special operations forces around the world. He and the surviving members of Team Broadminded meet annually to celebrate and honor those who have passed. Capers currently resides in North Carolina and continues to be a part of the special operations community. So hopefully that gives you a little bit better of an idea of what kind of a gentleman, or what kind of an individual this gentleman is. That's pretty unreal. That's a lot of stuff.
I want to meet that guy.
I'm saying, I want to know who that guy is.
Oh, man,
You have accomplished a lot in your 88 years on this planet, more than most human beings. And I think there's a reason why the Marine Corps selected you for all of these things that you did, because of your personality, your drive, your intrinsic motivation. There's a lot that goes into that. And I think that part of learning where you got those character traits from and characteristics from, I would say would start back as a young man growing up and stuff like that. Because I personally want to know how does a person get from here to here, because there's a lot of stuff that happened in between that, and I think that's one of the things I'm most excited to find out today. So I know that it said you grew up in a sharecropping farm. Is that correct, sir?
No, I was born there.
You're born there.
And then I moved to Baltimore, Maryland.
What do you remember what year you moved to Baltimore?
No. My father had got put on the chain gang, which is a punitive system in South Carolina to punish you for different alleged crimes. My father did not commit those crimes, but he was accused. And so once he got off the chain gang, he made his way to Baltimore, Maryland. And eventually he was able to send for his family, which was been my mom, my brother, and my sister. So we found a way to get there. I have no idea how we got from the cotton farm to Baltimore. Been a lot of, different suspicions that maybe the white folks on the farm, they owned the farm. We were just sharecroppers. We did the labor and they collected the money, and if everything went well, they would give us a few bucks. But, we needed to get out of there.
Do you remember how old you were when you were?
I was probably about 4 or 5.
4 or 5, and you were working out in the fields?
Of course, everybody worked.
Really?
You seem surprised about that.
I guess I shouldn't be, but it's just like thinking of it from a frame perspective of like how things are today. It's hard to wrap your mind around,
Yeah.
like because nobody would have a 4-year-old working in a field like picking crops today, unless you're in like a developing country somewhere outside the United States, right?
Yeah.
So it's just hard to wrap your head around.
I know,
but
that's fair.
Do you have like pretty decent memories of that period of time in your life?
No, not really. 3 of the children in my family passed away of illnesses that would be cured today, but we lost them. The first 3 children, which the first one was James Capers. The first child was born named James Capers Jr. He passed away. I was the last child to be born, and they named me James Capers Jr. That's who I am today. But the first child to be born in this family was James Capers Jr., but he passed away. So
did you know from what?
I don't know, because there were a lot of childhood, illnesses that was prevalent back in those days, and we didn't have the first-class medical systems and things of this nature.
Oh, you said 3 siblings?
Yeah, 3, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. I know that was, you were probably, would you say you were at such a young age that you didn't really have situational awareness about it, or did you?
Yeah, I didn't have that, no.
Okay. Well, so you finally get out of there with your family. You guys get up to Baltimore. When you got to Baltimore, what age were you? Around 4, 5, 6?
Yeah, somewhere along there.
Then you started did you go to school up there?
Yeah, they put me in like the kindergarten program they had, and it's tough to remember.
Yeah.
Because we made that transition from the cotton fields to Baltimore. They had city lights there and streets and stores on the streets and transportation, which we didn't have in South Carolina. I went back to South Carolina recently, and it's changed. They got stores there and different things that you would find in a city. It's changed a lot.
I imagine, especially in, 80 years.
Yeah.
Probably night and day. I mean, not only, geopolitically, but economically, infrastructure. I'm sure that the way that people interact with each other and treat each other is completely different now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a weird time to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really weird, like strange time in American history to grow up, I feel like.
Well, I don't know. Because I didn't know that it was really a bad system.
Yeah.
Survived, and my folks took good care of me. I was, got sick, And my parents gave me to a white family, and they took me in. I have no real memories of that, but my folks had no medical knowledge. They just knew that I was dying because we'd already lost 3 children,
Right.
Before I was born. So they took me in, and which was a wonderful thing about humanity. And they took in a black child that was dying and obviously saved my life. Years later, my folks told me about this family that took me in, saved my life. And in recent years, some friends of mine in South Carolina attempted to find that family, just to take a look and see who they were and see if they had descendants that we could say thanks to. We want to find out who the doctor was that saved my life. But nothing, just a piece of history, a piece of memory. But I survived and I did real well physically. I survived 2 wars.
Yeah.
And I survived 19 holes that I bled from.
And we're going to get into that because that's a lot. You can say things like that, but that doesn't really encapsulate like the incredible nature of that, because there's a lot that goes into those events too.
Yeah.
What do you remember what you were sick with?
No, I wouldn't have any idea.
Okay. And that was just a temporary thing. They just took care of you until you got better, and then
I
went back
to my family.
Okay.
And then we moved on south to Baltimore.
Okay. And you grew up in Baltimore. Do you remember how life was growing up in Baltimore?
Yeah.
How was life there?
There were streets and stores on the corners, and the streets were paved, and there were automobiles, and I didn't see the horse and buggies that I saw in the South.
There's still horse and buggies being used in the South.
Oh, I don't know about now.
Well, back then at that time.
Yeah. But neighborhood, we got to know each other, and mostly blacks was in this particular neighborhood. But they had stores on the corner. They had automobiles, and it was all new to me.
Was it relatively safe there at the time?
No.
Not really?
Well, because, in the black community, there were issues between black folks, and there was crime, and we had policemen, but they were not interested in protecting the black community. So it was kind of difficult survival in that particular era and area we lived. I mean, there was shootings and everybody carrying a knife and carrying a gun and all of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you guys as a community had to kind of like look out for yourselves because the police weren't doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My wife is from Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I told you that. So she was born there, and tough lady, obviously. But Baltimore nowadays is known as kind of a rough town. I don't know. I wasn't alive back then, so it's tough to. There's no way for me to know how it was back then. It probably was a much different city, I would imagine. But growing up there as a young boy back in those days, I would imagine would be you faced a little bit of adversity. How were your schools? Like, did you have decent schools?
Yeah, schools were good. I met my wife there.
In the school?
Yeah.
What grade?
High school.
High school?
Yeah, first time I saw her, she was walking down the hall and with some of her friends, and I was in love.
Immediately?
Right.
That was love at first sight?
Only woman I've ever loved. And we married 50 years, and she's gone now. I never remarried. I thought about it, but, my daughter was telling me this morning that if I should find somebody, that she'd have to approve it. Anybody that so I would imagine they would say, okay, you found someone you like, now who is she? And I will answer these questions and whatever.
Yeah.
They're all protective of me.
I'm sure.
And I appreciate that because I've never remarried. And I said, and I'm 88 years old now.
I think I can understand having a better understanding of like how long ago you met your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Being married to someone for 50 years,
Yeah.
the connection that you would develop with another human being that you've known for that long, and that was the only person you've ever been married to, the only person you've ever loved.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be something more powerful about that than most people's marriages, if I had to guess. So I can imagine that was a very difficult thing, not only your son passing, but her as well, after being married for 50 years.
Yeah.
Being like that's a pretty monumental thing. And now I think I'm starting to understand the gravity of that a little bit better. Because
I still write to her.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What you?
Well, I'll pull out a pad and I'll tell her what's going on in my life, and I've told her about my new family here, and because she was always worried about me, who's going to take care of me, and they've done that. They answered the call, but it hasn't always been. Well, it's been challenging for me. I live by myself, but I have a lot of help, But I think that during the final days and months of her life, she worried about, who's going to take care of you, how you going to survive, and
that's a pretty selfless way to look at it from her perspective. She was more worried about you than herself.
Yeah. I'd already lost my son at that time, but I moved into her room in the hospital. She died of cancer. And so I moved into the room with her, and I slept in a bed next to her, and I would hold her hand because the pain she was experiencing had to be tremendous.
I can imagine.
And of course, she was taking all the medication and things like that. But
that's an awful thing to way to go, because it's slow and, like you're saying, probably very painful. And you stayed by her bedside throughout that.
But sometimes my team would come and get me. I spent the night there in her room, and they would take me home so I could get a couple hours sleep. Then they'd bring me back in the afternoon, and I'd go back in that role to make sure that the machines were operating properly. But just to be there for her, that's what a marriage is. I mean, I loved her. As I said, I still write to her. I tell her about my team who's taking care of me. I can't mail her letters, but I just thought that's the proper thing for me to do.
I'll tell you what, that's extremely respectable, because especially in this day and age, marriage, we need more examples of that. Because I don't know how in the loop you are about like the state of like marriages in the world or in this country, or like how relationships are between men and women today. It almost seems like marriage is less common than it used to be. And there's also been a lot more divorce recently and a lot of other weird stuff. It almost feels like people don't have the same quality of relationships with each other today that they used to. And maybe part of that's because of technology. Maybe part of that's because of cell phones. I don't know. But I think that's an important piece to your story too, because I mean, there's a lot of folks out there that maybe don't ever understand or get a grasp on how to have a healthy marriage or a relationship with somebody, let alone being married for 50 years and being faithful for 50 years. Because that's a lot to wrap your head around for people that haven't done something like that, because that's a lot of time. It's twice as long as most college graduates. Like that's a ton of time. And the amount of dedication that you have to go that far and then still be committed even after her passing, that's a pretty big deal. And that just goes to show you, I think, goes to show me and everybody else out here that's listening, the level of commitment that you had to that marriage. And I think we could all use a little bit more of that level of dedication in our lives to something. You know what I mean?
Everybody doesn't have that.
No.
An example, after my wife passed, I'd gone down to my lawyer's office, and when I was waiting for the lawyer, a young lady was sitting there, and I says, "Hey, how are you?" She says, "I'm here to see the lawyer about a divorce." And I said, "How long were you married?" She said, 6 months. And she was there to see the lawyer about the divorce.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy that spent 50 years, and sometimes I had to go to combat.
During that?
Yes. I spent a year in the hospital. I was recovering from the war years, but here's a child that says she was married for 6 months and she's there to see about a divorce. Now, I don't know the reasons. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
But you're right. There is a big difference today. People are just not very tolerant. But my wife and I, we had our issues.
Sure.
After the war, they put me in a hospital and they locked me away in a room because they declared me insane. And all those years I spent in combat and watching my men die and, and the pain I suffered. But I was not allowed to come out because I was to create a danger to society.
How long did you have to stay locked up for like that?
Well, the locked up period was a room they had me in. And they asked me questions. They would say things like, rifle, and I would say kill, and I'd fail. Well, that was the wrong answer.
That was the wrong answer?
Yeah.
That's literally what they teach us to say in recruit training, though. What?
Yeah, but these are psychologists and psychiatrists, and we have a lot of PTSD. And, a lot of the guys from that era, say in Vietnam, had tremendous issues coming home and being reunited with families. My wife or my son couldn't come to visit me.
Was that difficult?
I was not a nice person.
Yeah.
And that's another graphic part. I'll leave that out. But now my son, who was blind and special needs, he could come and jump on the bed and say, "Hi, Dad." Nobody else could come close to me. Like, I wouldn't allow you to sit this close to me because I didn't trust you.
It was that bad?
Yeah, that bad. I mean, we were up close and, and in that line of work that I was in, we were sent out, and you'll talk about that early on, or you read about in the book. Mm-hmm. We went out to exterminate enemy soldiers in the most horrible way.
In horrible conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the rain and swimming in rivers and the snakes that were, 18 feet long.
18-foot snakes?
Yeah.
Like anaconda size?
Yeah.
Did anybody ever get bit by one?
No.
No? They were like constrictors?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had pictures of them, and we had one that we captured, and we named him Gorma.
You captured him?
Yeah. Gorma was a popular TV program, so we jumped on this big-ass snake.
You jumped on a snake?
Yeah, and we wrapped a poncho around his head.
Really?
His head was, big. And we captured him and brought him back to the base, which was a combat base called Kasan.
Oh, you were at Kasan, and you brought the snake back to Kasan with
you? Yeah. We had to get him across the river first, and we got to Kasan. Then the funny part about it, I can never tell that the way it's supposed to go. But we brought the snake back, and some of the troops dug a hole, and they put the snake in the hole. But then someone said, "Lieutenant, you're gonna need to feed the snake. You know.
Yeah.
Snakes won't eat any dead food. You know, they can't give them food out of a can. So Sergeant Yerman, my platoon sergeant, well, I'll go out in town. He went out and come back with a duck.
A duck.
A live duck, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He went out in town from Quezon and got a duck.
He got a duck.
Came back to Quezon with a duck.
Right.
Okay.
So they tied the duck's leg and put him in a hole with the snake.
So the snake's in a just an open hole
Right.
down an 18-foot snake, and he just drops the duck in there after he ties its foot together, so it can't run away.
So they figured that the snake's gonna eat the duck.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody was around to see when this snake was going to eat the duck. Well, the next day, the duck was still alive.
The duck was still alive.
Still alive. And so we wondered, wait a minute now, you got an 18-foot snake there and the duck is there quacking around. And then later on that day, we went over there to check it out. And the snake was dead as a doornail.
The snake was dead.
The snake was dead. And the duck was still quacking around.
There's no way that duck killed that snake.
We told this big lie that there was this big fight that the duck had pecked the snake and killed it.
Did people believe you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, they're like, oh, this duck with its feet tied killed this giant 18-foot snake.
We told more lies about that duck. And I told that story when I got home to, young folks who would believe anything. It was funny, but...
what's funny is like this kind of stuff happens across all generations and all theaters of combat. Like, Marines and soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan were having camel spiders fight each other and weird stuff like that, or scorpions fight each other. Like, it just seems like this has been a consistent thing throughout history that people get bored and they're like, let's take a whole snake back to the Quezon Ridge and have it fight a duck or try to eat a duck. Did anyone ever find out what killed it?
No, because what we did, snake was dead, so we skinned him.
Okay.
And we took the meat and gave it to, there was a tribe called Montagnards that lived there in Vietnam, in the mountains. So we gave the meat to the Montagnards.
Oh, that's nice.
And skin, we made belts out of them and...
Oh, really?
Whatever,
Hell, that's... Did you take the belts out with you when you went out into the tree line, or
no?
No, you left them back in the camp.
Yeah. Crazy world.
Yeah, that's a wild ass story. That's interesting. Right. You made belts with a snake that you brought back from the jungle. Mm-hmm. Did you? Well, I want to work back up to that because I got other questions about Vietnam because I know there's a lot. There's so many stories, but I want to kind of backtrack a little bit back to Baltimore. So. Do you remember about what age you were when you figured out you wanted to join the military?
Probably 13, 14, because the Korean War was going on.
Okay. Did you see anything about that? Were there like recruiting posters or something that piqued your interest?
Daily News.
Daily News?
We'd heard about how the Marines had held on during the snow and things of this nature. And everybody retreated but the Marines, and they stayed and fought.
They were putting this on TV about like the Chosen, like Fox Company up there and stuff, and Chosen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love to read about that sort of stuff. And
there's a good book about it, Last Stand of Fox Company. You ever read that?
Yeah.
It's a great book.
I know.
Good book. I always recommend that to everybody. If they've never read anything or don't know much about the Korean War, it's a good book.
Yeah.
So the Korean War and like hearing about it on TV was kind of what piqued your interest and kind of got you thinking about like, hey, maybe this is something I can do. Was there like a specific reason? Was it because you wanted a challenge or?
No, I was a patriot. We'd come out of a place in the South where I was more like a slave. And we come to the North, and there were flags all over the place, and I felt like I've got to do something now to help my country out. We were patriots, and we sort of was required to do something now. It's on us now. So I went down and volunteered when I was about, 16.
Yeah.
And they said, well, no, come back later on. And as soon as I graduated from high school, I was gone.
Immediately?
Yeah, 2 days after I graduated, I was in Paris Island.
No kidding?
Yeah.
So you couldn't wait to get the hell out of there?
No.
Okay.
I wanted to join the Marines.
That's one of those things I feel like we're missing from so many parts of American society today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if that's something that I've noticed by myself, but there's a lot of people that think there's so much wrong with this country instead of thinking like, I owe everything in my life to this country. I don't know. Maybe it's like a lack of gratitude for the greatest country in the history of the universe. We had our fair share of problems, sure, right? But like everything that I've got, I owe to this country because I could have easily been born in the UK or born in France, and look at what's going on over there. You know what I mean? Like we have a lot of opportunity here, and I think that's something that's super important that's missing from society is like a sense of like love for one's country and wanting to do something to contribute to the country.
Well, let's take a look at it from a racial point of view. Up until 1960, we were more or less, folks like me were more or less viewed as slaves. No, we all remember the Emancipation Proclamation when they said, okay, you're no longer slaves now. But we had nothing. So what happens now? You get off the farms with no money, and so where are you going to go? You're still, that's the part of life that I looked at, when I was educating myself about the world I saw, and then the world that this country was. Now, everybody wasn't bad. Obviously, I told you about the white family that took me in. But we had the night riders. They'd come and burn down black homes or do evil things because they didn't want the African Americans or the slaves to have that freedom. Now, guys like me come around, and I fought for that freedom. I was willing to risk my life for this country because I remembered everybody was not bad. So I appreciate the greatness of this country. I've seen the evil parts of this world. I fought 2 wars. I've seen men die in battle and children die just because of where they were. I was the hero. I volunteered to go serve my country. I didn't talk about it. And I volunteered to go to battle. I didn't stay behind and give out mess kits. I want to get in there and I want to help my fellow Marines. I volunteered. Nobody drafted me. I volunteered.
Which is a big deal because back then most people that were joining were getting drafted. So you went voluntarily.
Yeah, I volunteered, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
My country.
Yeah.
I honored that flag. I always did that when I was in Quezon. Things were kind of bad for us. We couldn't get food in. We couldn't get a lot of ammunition in. Because of the rain, the choppers couldn't fly. But I had a flag, an American flag, which I kept in my pocket here. And after 3 months of holding on to that base, they decided that they're going to take us out of there now. But we were never defeated. Nobody ever defeated us. Marines don't lose in battles, and we didn't lose. It's the political things, and we pulled out of there. But I had the flag in my pocket, and they hit us pretty hard.
Were they shelling you a lot?
Yeah.
Quezon. I know they took a lot of artillery in Quezon.
Right. And there was individual fights. hand-to-hand combat. But when the C-130 came in to pull out some of the guys, the dead and the wounded, the propellers, was hitting us pretty hard. The wind was blowing, and the wind blew my flag out of my pocket, my American flag, which I'd carried
throughout the whole war.
Oh yeah. But this is Kasan now, and the propellers from the C-130 was a huge air transport.
Yeah,
and it flew away from me, and my guys were loading up the aircraft to get out of there, and the rockets were coming in, and things weren't good for us at that moment. So as my flag flew away, that was when I had my country, this flag, and I went after it, and it kept flying away. And my platoon sergeant, Sergeant Yerman, said, "Come on, Lieutenant, the bird is getting out of here now. Come on back." And I said, "Well, just give me a minute. Give me another minute. Now I'll get the flag. Just give me another minute." Well, I didn't have another minute. The rockets came in, and they came close to the C-130. And Sergeant Yerman came after me, and the flag flew down over like like a little hill or something, and I ran after it. And Sergeant Yerman grabbed me and said, "No, let it go." And he pulled me back, got me on the aircraft, and we took out of there. I'd gotten wounded twice there in Kasan.
Twice
in Kasan.
And within what period of time? Do you remember?
3 months.
Within 3 months? You got wounded twice? Do you know what were the wounds from?
I have 19 holes, and I still have, I think, 6 pieces of metal in my lower legs, and my thighs, the metal, the bullet fragments went into my legs, and they're stuck in the bone in my thighs, and they're still there.
Now this is from bullets, not from shrapnel, from artillery or anything?
Bullets. And now bullets, at the time, there's shrapnel too, My lower legs mostly shrapnel.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of, when the bullets hit a tree or something and they break in half, but I still got it. The doc says I was too old for surgery.
How old were you at the time?
No, now.
Oh, now, gotcha.
They said I'm too old for surgery. But it hurts, but I got it out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about that flag. I didn't get the flag. It flew away, and Vietnam flew away.
How long was it between when you left Kasan and when you left Vietnam completely?
I think 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah, they pulled us out and sent us south. And it was just as bad in the south.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I know because we talked about you received a battlefield commission. So you were enlisted when you first got to Vietnam, correct?
No, the staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant, okay. All right, so I do want to talk on that piece because I want to talk through like what actually got you the battlefield commission, because there's a lot of people don't understand how that kind of stuff works, or like what a battlefield commission is. So we'll talk through that. But you joined out of patriotism, like you said. You volunteered.
Yeah.
You didn't get told to. You didn't get drafted, which is a big deal, especially back in Vietnam era, because most people got drafted back then just because that was the nature of the beast. If people knew if you joined the Marine Corps or the military, you were probably going to Vietnam. So most people were trying to not go. So you joined the Marine Corps, you enlisted, you went to Parris Island, you went through recruit training. Mm-hmm. After recruit training, where did you go to receive any type of combat training? Was it
here at Camp Lejeune?
Was it Montford Point?
No, Montford Point closed.
Oh, it closed.
Yeah.
Okay, but you went to Camp Lejeune and you did the School of Infantry there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was your original MOS? Do you remember?
03.
Just 0311?
Yeah.
Okay, 03 bang bang.
Which is what I wanted.
That's what you wanted?
I want to get into it.
Okay. That's respectable. That is one of the hardest jobs, and also I would say it's one of those jobs that they get the least amount of respect but do some of the most work out of everybody. It's like
getting the respect now.
Well, yeah, for sure. You definitely got to a point now, for sure, where you earned it. Obviously, but yeah, 0311s. I had a lot of my friends were 0311s, and they
That's what
they
you
don't
should
get the
have done.
respect. Was that?
Why didn't you end up being a gunfighter?
Well, I was in 0352, so I was an anti-tank missile man when I started. And the main reason is because they were asking people who had GT scores over a certain number, and they're like, "Oh, you're smart enough to shoot missiles and not blow yourself up." So that's pretty much why I ended up in that position. And also, they said you ride around in trucks, which I was also like, I like that idea because
Easy life, right?
yeah, that's pretty much what. Yeah, I wanted to be in the infantry, but I didn't want to be digging holes every day all the time like my buddies that were the 11s. So I picked being the cat platoon or the 0352 community. But in any case, you went through the School of Infantry. How long was that at that point?
A month.
A month long?
Well, actually, it's supposed to be a month, but the war started in the Middle East, so they pulled us out of the training and sent us to the Middle East.
What was happening in the Middle East during that time?
Well, the Egyptians and the Israelis were fighting.
Oh, no kidding.
That's 1956.
56.
Mm-hmm. So they sent us over, and I was in the battalion at that time.
What battalion?
1st Battalion, 2nd Marines.
Oh, you were in 1-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 1-2.
Hell yeah.
And I got there, we all got there, and Eisenhower was president.
That's so wild to think. Eisenhower was still president. This is post-World War II. Wow.
And we got there, and we thought that we were going to land, and we didn't land. They brought us back. We got back in November of 1956, and we got leave. So we all went home for Christmas, and in 1957, they sent us out again. I think the thing with Castro was happening.
Oh, in Cuba and stuff?
Yeah, so we got sent there.
Were you on a MEU or something? Or
battalion.
Just on a ship, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we went down there, we come back from that. And then that was 57, we did training and all that. We got to go home.
Did you guys ever get off onto the land or the beach?
No, we didn't.
You stayed on the ship?
Yeah.
Did you do training on the ship?
Well, we did some training on land.
Okay.
No, we landed. Then in 1958, I made sergeant.
In 58. And what year did you actually enlist?
56.
In 2 years, you were a sergeant.
Right.
That's lightning speed for an 0311.
Yeah. Well, we went to Lebanon.
Oh, okay.
And I made meritorious sergeant for that operation.
No kidding.
Keep in mind, I'm the guy that want to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we went to Lebanon. I killed my first human being.
In Lebanon?
In Lebanon, yeah, in 1958.
Wow.
Yeah,
and that was it the Lebanese military, or was it like Hezbollah, or what?
No, they didn't even exist back in those days.
I guess that's true.
No, they didn't exist. It was usually the Syrians. The Syrians come across the border, and we had to deal with the Syrians, and we had to close the airport. We had the embassy. We had to close the embassy and get all the civilians out and put them on aircraft and get them out of there.
In Lebanon?
In Lebanon.
Were you in Beirut?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was the headquarters of Beirut. That was.
Yeah.
But we fought in the mountains. And
I don't know why, for some reason, I didn't realize that we had a presence in Lebanon in the 50s.
Yeah, 58. I made meritorious sergeant. It was just something that I guess I was good at.
Yeah.
I was finding myself, to do things that, as a young man from Baltimore, I didn't know how to do. But they gave me a squad, and my job now was to take care of those guys.
Did you have any good mentors when you first got into the Marine Corps? Like in 1-2 or anything?
I would say yeah, but the Marine Corps had just integrated.
Okay.
Muffet pointed clothes, and And the African Americans who were in Moffett Point, they became into the regular Marine Corps, and those were our mentors. You know, they had fought during World War II,
Yeah.
and Moffett Point had closed. So now those guys were the platoon sergeants, and they were a little bit tough.
Montfort Point Marines were?
Yeah, when they come into the regular Marine Corps,
Yeah.
they were a little bit tough because they had been through hell.
I imagine.
You know, so we didn't get a chance to no slack.
They went real hard on you.
Oh yeah.
I bet they did.
Yeah.
But do you think that ended up paying off in the end because they got you as prepared as they could for when you actually went to combat?
Well, for me, a lot of those guys from Moffett Point, I was 20 years old when I made sergeant. And some of these guys had been in Moffett or been in the Marine Corps for 10, 15 years, but they were in a segregated Marine Corps. And I come along, and I'm the hardcore young guy, and I loved it. And I was put in charge of some of the guys from Moffett Point.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Did they have a hard time with that?
Yeah.
I bet.
I was a kid for them.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah. But it was all right. They respected me, and they helped me along the way, and you know, I learned a lot.
And you said you had a squad in Lebanon that you got assigned to.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people were in that squad? Was it just a squad of 12 guys?
Yeah, 12 guys, you know. Sometime we had someone attached to us.
Yeah.
The 3.5 rocket launchers and the flamethrowers.
You had flamethrowers there?
Yeah, we had flamethrowers, you know.
Oh, dang.
And the flamethrowers come in, the rocket launchers come in.
Yeah.
And we had the mortar guys that were all attached to us.
The 60s?
Yeah.
60 millimeters?
Had 81s.
Oh, you had 81s, okay.
81s. So I had all these guys.
Yeah.
We could fight.
I bet.
You know,
I bet you could.
The flamethrowers and the rockets and the regular troops. Now, if you hit us, you got problems.
Yeah.
Because they could fight.
Yeah.
And they were good at it too, you know. And I was a young guy. I thought that, well, they put me in charge because I was kind of hardcore. I didn't take any shit, you know. But then the guys, we did well. We fought well in the mountains. You know, we could take the 6x and trucks, and we'd go up in the mountains and fight. You know, the bad guys coming across from Syria.
Yeah.
They were coming across in Lebanon. Now, the Marines are known for, you don't try to come into our area.
Yeah.
So we fought them off.
Were you in like a defensive posture mostly then?
Mostly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mostly.
So you guys had like fighting holes dug and trenches dug and stuff?
But then we'd go after the bad guys.
Okay, so you did some raiding too?
Yeah.
Wow.
When we got a chance to go down in the cities, you know, we had to kind of clear out the cities because the Egyptians really didn't bother us too much. It was the Syrians.
The Syrians were the problem?
Yeah.
Okay, like near Aleppo and Damascus, because you're closer to that side of the country, like the western side of Syria.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever go into Syria?
Yeah.
No kidding.
We had the trucks, when the 6x came, we didn't have the 6x at first, but when he brought in the 6x that we could move, and we started moving around, and everybody was in trouble. Because when the Marines came in, we're young guys now, there ain't no fear.
Yeah.
You know, we were told in boot camp that we were the toughest guys around. We had the old M1 rifle.
You had the M1 Grands?
Right.
No kidding.
And they were good.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells me.
Yeah, then we had the old BAR, had 20-round magazines.
Oh, wow.
And you got a bunch of hardcore young Marines that, you know, full of piss and vinegar. They would fight at night. You know, at night, you could hear the Egyptians, and everybody had different languages. And the prayers that they, about 1 o'clock in the morning, you hear them praying.
Yeah.
And we didn't understand what the hell they were saying. But in a lot of them, that language was telling them to come and attack us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I didn't realize that you had fought in the Middle East before, like everybody in the global war on terror fought in the Middle East. Because it's like, that is a very underreported part of our history. I had no idea that we had Marines in Lebanon and Syria in the 50s. Not a clue. Nobody said anything about that.
Fighting over there for 2,000 years.
Yeah. Well, they for sure have, for like since the Bible days, But I mean, like whenever you think of like Lebanon as a Marine, you think of 1983 for the barracks bombing, right? That's like the big thing that people think of when they think of the Marines in Lebanon, just because that was such a devastating loss, like over 220 Marines, and sailors killed. So that's what I think of. I didn't realize we were actually over there fighting people.
Oh yeah.
That's and so that kind of laid the baseline for you as far as your experience with combat. Did you ever receive any injuries while you're over there, or did you get it? Did you manage to get out without getting injured?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most part, yeah.
Let me see. What that was in 58. You got back in 58 as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you were back in the rear, where did you guys go from like 58 until you finally went to Vietnam? Did you have any other locations?
We came back to Camp Lejeune.
Right.
And I had re-enlisted.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I went to Camp Pendleton. I joined the old First Force Reconnaissance.
Okay.
And the Marine Pathfinders. And I went to jump school and scuba school. I became a 3rd degree black belt in karate and savate, aikido, and judo.
Okay, so that's basically once you got back from that Lebanon deployment, you left, went to Camp Pendleton, and started going through the Force Recon pipeline.
Yeah.
All the training schools that were required.
Right.
So you probably had to go to airborne school, like in the Army, probably back in those days. I imagine.
Fort Bragg Army School. Yeah.
Oh, Fort Bragg, not even Fort Benning.
No, it was Fort Benning.
Okay, Fort Benning. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't know they did that at Fort Bragg, but Fort Benning, that makes sense. Yeah, because I know a lot of the guys back in those days, they were still having to go to Army schools for most everything. Did you go to dive school as well?
Yeah.
Where was that?
Down in Panama.
Or Key West?
Yeah, Key West, Florida.
Was it Key West, Florida? Okay. So it's been there for a while. And
I was honor graduate.
From dive school?
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest schools in the military, apparently.
And most people thought back in those days that Negroes couldn't swim.
Well, I'll probably prove them wrong, I'd say, if you were the honor grad.
I showed up. And I did well, until the last. I was a sergeant, and I took down the other 19 other divers with me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the program, so we were going to Vietnam when we come back to Camp Lejeune.
What year was this?
1966.
Oh, 66, okay.
Yeah.
So you were finishing dive school by that point?
I finished dive school.
Okay.
But I had one man that didn't make the time swim. You have to be able to make this, say, 1,000-meter swim in a certain amount of time. Well, he didn't quite make it. And he was a good man. So I went to the chief, and I said, Chief, I got a problem. I said, I was a sergeant. And he said, what is Sarge? I said, we're going to Vietnam, as you know. And I got a man that didn't make the time swim. He said, well, if you can't make the time swim, we can't graduate you. So I'm going to need this guy. I said, swimming isn't really what we do. We're combat guys. I said, would you let him take the test again? He said, we don't do that. This was UDT and the SEALs that come on board in 62. So we had the SEALs and the UD2 guys. And now we got the Marines. So I said, let me get in the water and let me swim with him. And I guarantee you, if I pace him, he'll make it. He said, Sarge, I can't do that. It's against the damn law.
It's against the damn law.
Yeah. I said, well, fighting itself is against the law. So just give me a shot. Put him in the water, and if I can't pace him and he doesn't make it, then you prove your point. This you damn Marines. And got in the water with him. And he's still alive.
Is he really?
He's still alive. And we got in the water. Before we got in the water, I says, hey, this is our last shot at it. You got to make this swim, and I'm going to swim with you. And all I need you to do is stay with me. Stay with me. Swim along with me, and then everything will be all right. So we jump in the water, and we're going, And I got a little bit ahead of him, and he grabbed on to my leg and held on to my leg, and I was...
You were pulling him up? Oh, Jesus.
And then I slowed up a little bit, and he caught up with me, and then I don't remember exactly how we did this, but it wasn't exactly something that, according to school regulations, but I think the chief let me get away with it. We came in maybe about 30 seconds late, but he let me get away with it, and the kid graduated.
No kidding.
And he did a good job. He ended up going to the POW camp thing with me.
I don't want to get into that too, because that's going to be something.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole nother ballgame. Where did you learn to swim?
Well, I could always swim, but the thing was, there were people who said Negroes couldn't swim.
Right.
We had pools in Baltimore, and but they were segregated.
Oh, they were?
Oh, yeah. Back when I was there,
yeah,
you couldn't go into the Baltimore city. Eventually, they opened it up, and the schools had no swimming pools. And so we used to go to the old swimming holes, and we'd learn to swim there in the old swimming holes. Back in those days, there was a character called Tarzan.
Yeah.
And Tarzan was a fictional character. He was a white guy that lived in jungles.
You swung from tree vines?
Tarzan could fight alligators and lions and tigers, but he could swim. We used to go to the movie on Saturday and watch Tarzan swim. And boy, he would be chasing somebody and whatever. And we thought that was the greatest thing in the world. That's how I learned to swim, imitating Tarzan, and watching his moves and his legs. And that was my motivation to get in the water.
Okay. So you just taught yourself how to swim.
Yeah.
After what? Because you watched Tarzan, you're like, I want to be able to swim like that. So you just started doing it.
Yeah.
I think that might be the problem with everybody. If you can't swim, the only way you can get better at doing it is just doing it. You can't. It's like you can't really watch a TV like a movie and then all of a sudden now you know how to swim. You got to go do it. Kind of like you don't learn how to run efficiently unless you run
right.
and do it. I'm the kind of guy like I have to do something like physically do it in person or I'm not. It's just not. I'm not
you a swimmer?
Was that?
Are you a swimmer?
I can swim. I don't think that I'm a good swimmer. I think that I can swim well enough where I can pass the intermediate swim qual. I would say I'm a competent swimmer, but I wouldn't say that I'm like good enough to be a rescue swimmer, unless I tried really hard. But I just don't think I have the intrinsic motivation to do that because it's not something I'm super driven towards. But I'm capable of swimming. I would say, as far as like Marine Corps standards are concerned, like I could probably pass like the advanced swim qualification.
Are you a diver? Can you dive?
I mean, I could learn. I could for sure learn, yeah. But I wouldn't. Right now, I don't have any of the knowledge for it because I've never gone to a dive school. My friend's son just passed dive school. He just joined. He's a a reconnaissance Marine,
Okay.
I believe in Camp Pendleton as well. And he just passed. He's a Lance Corporal, already passed airborne and dive school.
Okay.
He's crushing it. He's crushing. He's doing a great job. I actually met him for the first time. I don't want to give up his dad's name. A lot of folks know who he is, but he's crushing it. He's a young kid, just got into the reconnaissance community. I think he's only been in the Marine Corps for less than 2 years. He's just been going to schoolhouse to schoolhouse to schoolhouse, constantly going back to back to back. And so I got a lot of respect for that. And also, it gives me hope seeing younger generations doing these hard things, because we need people that are capable of doing that want to be there. Because that's really what it comes down to, is if you don't want it, you're probably not going to get it.
I can still swim a mile.
Can you?
And I'm 88 years old.
Well, hell yeah. Does it? You know what's funny is my dad swims on a fairly regular basis because it helps his back, helps like release the pressure on his discs. You know what I mean? Do you find any like benefit from that, from being in the water?
Well, both my legs were broken and things like that. But I'm a natural swimmer.
Yeah.
I mean, I've swam when I was commanding officer of 2nd Force. I would challenge my guys. I was close to 40 years old then.
Close to 40 years old.
Yeah, and I could outswim most of the young guys.
That's so wild.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, I can still, like if you and I bet a book or two, I'd take it to the pool rather.
Yeah.
I said, let's go swim.
You probably swim better than me now, I bet.
Probably could.
Bet. You probably had a lot more practice than I have.
Yeah. I made 4 combat swims.
No kidding.
You know, what we did when we got to Vietnam on the aircraft carrier, you know, one of the ships had been blown up, USS Card. So when we got there, I took down my team of divers and we swam under the ship. When we got to the end of the aircraft carrier, we ran into some tiger sharks.
Oh my God. You swam from end to end,
right,
not from the middle section?
No. We went from end to end because we thought that the NVA or the Viet Cong had put explosives under the ship.
Oh,
so
okay.
we had to go check. No, we were all guys. We could take down, you know, some minor bombs and things like that.
Yeah.
So we went to check it out, swam the whole distance of the ship. We got to the end. One of the buddy lines on one of my troops come loose, and he was floating out to where the tiger sharks were.
You just knew there were tiger sharks out there?
Yeah, I know a tiger shark, yeah.
You seen them?
Yeah, 8 to 10 feet long.
Oh, Jesus. And, I can't believe that.
Army base used to dump food in the harbor there for the sharks to eat.
Okay.
But they shouldn't have done that day. They were told by the Navy, don't dump it because we have divers in the water.
Yeah.
Well, something went wrong, and the shark showed up.
Oh my God! How many of them showed up?
Oh my! A whole school of them.
A school?
Because when they dumped the food out there, everybody went to eat.
Oh my God!
So we're in the water under the ship, and we got almost to the end, and that's where the Army's base was. We docked there.
Oh, you're docked?
Yeah, we're docked there. Yeah.
Okay.
But not all the way in. You know, we're partly still in the ocean out there.
Yeah.
That's what Army base was. But leadership, one of my men, his buddy line come loose, and the ship was moving a little bit, and he was drifting toward where the tiger sharks were eating. I'm dive master, and I unhooked my buddy line and swam out to where he was and grabbed him and brought him back, swam back with him.
Did he know that he was like drifting?
He saw it, but his buddy line was unhooked.
So he was getting just sucked out?
Yeah.
Okay.
But at any rate, that's leadership. Now, I could have said, well, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But the good leaders say, well, I got to do this. If he's going to die, I'm going to die with him. I went out there and got him and brought him back.
Did you pull him
back?
By, like with one hand, you were swimming with one arm?
Yeah.
Was he? He was probably helping at that point, right? Because he wasn't unconscious or anything.
No, he was terrified.
I bet.
He was terrified because you could see the sharks eating.
Oh, they were like in a feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
A few more feet, he'd have been.
How many meters away do you think they were?
I could see the sharks, and I was following him.
Yeah.
So I would think about 4 meters.
Oh, not far at all.
No, 4 meters.
Oh my
and he
God.
was drifting. So I'm holding it, trying to keep him from going out there.
Meanwhile, you're trying to bring yourself in with him.
Yeah.
Back into where the rest of the crew was.
That's leadership. That's leadership. When I talk about leadership, you risk your life for your men. I did that many times in Vietnam, of course.
Yeah.
Now they got me up for the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yeah, that's another piece we're definitely going to want to talk about, because there's a big movement to there's a lot of people that are wanting to get your Silver Star upgraded. But I want to, before we talk on that, I want to make sure that I know the full story of what resulted in you being awarded that in the first place, because that's going to help kind of encapsulate this whole thing. But I want to kind of lead up to, what year did you actually arrive in Vietnam? You said you were a staff sergeant when you got there, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you said, that was 66 when you 1st got there?
Yeah.
So this is long after the French got shot by the NVA and everything like that, when they were in the area. And there's also a lot of U.S. troops already in Vietnam by the time you got there. There was established bases. They had like a decent logistics supply chain network already set up throughout a lot of the South Vietnam at that point. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you guys go first when you first got to Vietnam?
We were aboard an aircraft carrier, and we came into a place called Nha Trang.
Nha Trang?
And Nha Trang is where the Special Forces guys were, and where they dumped garbage in the bay while we were swimming on the ship.
Okay. So that was Nha Trang is where you first got in at?
Got there in April of 1966.
How long did you stay at Nha Trang for? What'd you say?
I would imagine probably a few days.
Okay, and then you went up north, or?
Mm-hmm. Well, we went inboard, and then we went inland. Then we hooked up with Recon Battalion. They were already there.
Okay, so the Recon Battalion was already like inland a little bit, but you were just linking up with them.
Yeah, we linked up with them and became part of them. And they had a bad CO, and things didn't go right.
Okay.
So we almost lost a couple of my men.
Because of the CO's decisions?
Yeah. So we pulled out, and we went south and became part of the First Recon Battalion. So we did some operations with them, and then we did we moved around a lot, because we come in from the States and we were the best there was. Everybody wanted us.
So everybody was trying to get you to come work with them.
Right. We did the SEAL thing. They were down south in Saigon.
Yeah.
And, CIA, of course.
Sure.
Had the young guys there, and we did that work for them.
You did work with the CIA?
Yeah. The POW mission was CIA Day operation. So,
was it really?
Yeah.
Was that?
They planned it.
Oh, they planned it, and then you just executed with them?
Mm-hmm.
When you did that, were you in plain clothes, or were you in?
No, we were in regular uniforms. They didn't go. They sent a man to give us the information, and he was there with us, but he didn't go on the mission itself. When we launched and we hit the POW camp, kill everything we could.
Yeah.
But the POWs weren't there.
Nobody was there.
Nobody with no POW. That was enemy soldiers, which we had some engagements. And
what POW camp was this? Are you allowed to say?
Well, there was no real name that I knew.
Yeah.
We just knew that they had the American POWs there, and they had 3 buildings The first building, the guards were, and the middle building they had the Americans in, and the last building they had guards in. We came in and killed these folks, and we got to the middle, and then we thought they were there, but they were not there. So we just wiped out everything. We burned everything down, and not to make it graphic, but that's who we are.
Yeah. Well, you were trying to sanitize the area of like
you drop us in when, you know, those guys or mine come in.
Yeah.
You know, we had the old M16s, and we carried the didn't carry any flamethrowers, but we carried the normal lethal weapons.
Yeah.
And we carried 20 grenades a man.
20 grenades per
20
person?
Grenades, yeah.
Where'd you store all those?
On our bodies, and we had baggy pants, and you could store them in your baggy pants.
Did you just have like 4 grenades in your cargo pocket?
Probably
about there.
Then we had some on our jackets, and
oh yeah. It's probably a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Per person, because you're carrying a bunch of grenades in your pockets and on your chest, and you're carrying extra magazines, and you're carrying your rifle, and you got a pack on probably,
Tough
and your helmet.
guys. They could do that.
Yeah.
Tough guys.
Yeah.
Plus food.
Plus food and water.
Yeah.
And water. That's a lot. And if you got a radio, that's extra.
Well, that's why that group of men, the team Broadminded, you know, I think every one of those guys should have got a Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
I saw them fight. Nobody better. I've seen the other guys. I've been with the Australians and the British Commandos, and even some of the Germans that we were with.
Were there Germans over there?
No. I mean, I've worked with Germans in other capacities.
Makes sense.
I never saw anybody any better than those Marines at that time, because they left home and trained and trained and trained, and we got there. Everybody wanted us.
Yeah.
But we were the best there was. There was nobody better than a small unit now. We're not talking about a regiment or something like that. We were a small group.
How many guys?
I had 7.
7?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody wanted that 7-man group?
Yeah. Now, we had others that came in later on, but they were not always, they were not as well trained as we were, because we got some from different organizations.
Oh, you got extra training from other organizations once you were there?
No, we got some volunteers to come in and be a part of our unit.
Oh, I gotcha. So they weren't part of the original group?
No.
Okay, so those guys didn't have the same level of training as you did?
Nobody did. We could blow things up. You know, just, you know, looking back and being with other groups and then reading a lot of books and watching movies. And I know that from what I saw, I don't remember any group or organization, past or present, that could have done what Broadminded did. I don't see that.
Who named it Broadminded?
I have no idea.
No idea.
That's you know, was the name Broadminded.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how that come about, but it stuck.
Yeah.
And they fought all the way to Phu Loc.
Phu Loc?
Phu Loc was our last mission as a unit. Everybody was wounded. My war dog I had called King. King was a large German shepherd.
Yeah.
Trained to kill you.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I saw him do that. And I don't know if we want to get into that, but he would rip your throat out.
Yeah. So you had a war, basically you caught out a war dog.
War dog.
It wasn't used for...
Wasn't a pet. No, he wasn't a scout dog.
He wasn't like an EOD dog or nothing.
No, he was a war dog. He was trained to kill.
I didn't know we had those. I guess that makes sense. You know, most of the dogs I've ever heard of being like service dogs were always like either PMO, like police dogs, or bomb sniffing dogs. I never heard of a war dog though.
Well, that's what King was.
Okay.
Now, King, I could run him about 10 feet off of our line.
Yeah.
You know, he had a dog tag and
he did.
You know, had a collar. And if I told him I could give him commands. If he was sitting behind that curtain right there, I could say, "Yo, King," and he would come right around this, and I would say, "Kill him." He'd jump on you, rip your throat out.
That's how quick.
Yeah, so you couldn't defend him because he was a big dog. He was,
Yeah.
He'd rip your throat out.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And you just took him on missions with you?
Yeah. He was killed on my last mission.
Oh, dang. What happened?
Well, we had a big fight with some enemy soldiers, and we went out there to, never really figured out a lot about that last mission. We came out, it was at night, and the first night we were there, we slept in a graveyard. Graveyard that had the regular, stuff there. We got behind them.
The headstones and stuff?
Yeah, because we were going in now to take out some bad guys.
Yeah.
We spent the first night there, and then we moved in toward the unit, and with King in the lead, and all hell broke loose. And you could see tracers and rounds all over the place. We kill everybody. And King killed 2.
2, just the dog?
Yeah, King killed 2, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, he was a big dog. He'd jump on you. You couldn't defend him.
And these guys that you guys were fighting, were they NVA or were they?
NVA.
Okay.
Now, we fought everybody.
Because Viet Cong and NVA is 2 different things, right? Yeah, that's one of the things people get confused a lot, because 2 different things. The NVA was the actual official government North Vietnamese troops. Viet Cong were more like militia. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
You got your stuff right.
Yeah, a lot of people mix the 2 up. And the only reason I even know that is because I recently interviewed another Vietnam veteran who explained it to me, who was kind enough to explain it to me. Because it's a very complex war, Vietnam was. Some people want to simplify it. It's a lot more complicated than people give it credit. So the dog, did the dog get shot? Do you know what happened?
Explosions went off, going off. And I looked over, and King was lying there. His tongue was hanging out. Body was shredded.
Damn.
And then, I was beginning to kill people.
Yeah. Were you able to retrieve the body of the dog after?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to leave him out there.
Hell
what
no.
What are you talking about?
Did you give him a proper burial out there? Or
no, I never saw him again. Once we got him back to the helicopter, they took him and never saw him again.
I wonder what they did.
Part of that was we had trouble getting from the combat zone. The chopper had come out there. 2 of them had showed up, and one was firing, suppressing fires to keep the bad guys off of us. Then the other one landed, and I was able to fight and get the dead and the wounded and my dog's body to the helicopter. And we got on the helicopter. I didn't get on the helicopter. Get my men out here and come back and get me. I would hold them off, but I didn't get on the helicopter until...
You were by yourself?
Yeah. The crew chief reached out and grabbed me and pulled me on the helicopter as it went up. Then it came back down. I got off.
After he'd pulled you back on?
Yeah, I got off.
And you stayed there?
The crew chief pulled me back on again.
Oh, he did?
But I had to tend to some business with rounds still coming our way.
Yeah.
So I needed to deal with that. So, and I got back on, and it took off about 5 or 6 feet and crashed back down to the ground. Blood flowed out of the helicopter. Everybody's bleeding. So we finally got out of there and got to the hospital.
Oh, so it did eventually. It was just heavy, probably a little heavier than it was used to.
Had my whole team on board.
All 7 guys and the dog.
I think we had 7 or 8.
7 or 8. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
It's like a little Huey.
I don't know what the hell that thing was. It was small.
Yeah. But they got you out of there and got you back to we're an
Hospital.
aid station hospital. Was it a like an actual military base?
Yeah. We got there and I stayed in the hospital for a year. Well, when we got home, well, they kept me alive there. I lost a lot of blood.
At that hospital in Vietnam.
Yeah. Then they sent us to Japan. From Japan, we went to Alaska.
Alaska.
Yeah, and it flew to Alaska. It was 10 degrees below zero.
Jeez, was it because there's a hospital up there too, or?
That's why they sent us to Alaska. Then they sent us from Alaska to. We made a few stops, and I was morphine, and we finally got home.
You'd lost a lot of fluids, and so
Yeah,
they had to.
yeah.
Was it because you suffered some gunshot wounds? You'd taken shrapnel, all kinds of stuff, probably in that fight. It's hard to. For guys like me who've never experienced things like that, I mean, a lot of the GWAT guys haven't either, because most, unless they were in major urban combat like Fallujah or Marja or some of these other, like Baghdad or something, a lot of the guys that were in the GWAT, it was like small, intermittent gunfights. It wasn't like crazy stuff where you're taking off in a helicopter while being shot at. It's hard to wrap your head around sometimes. These situations that were just so insane that you and your team were in, it's hard for people to understand, like, the intensity, because most people here in America just don't have a way of framing it.
Let me tell you, who never saw combat, my chief of staff over there's thinking, oh shit, he's gonna say something. When we ran up on a group of NVA, and just the action itself, I grabbed him by his mouth, and I took my knife and I cut his throat and ripped him here. And the blood flew out. Blood was all over my hand. And I carried that blood when I was in the hospital. I was trying to get water to wash the blood off my hands. But I wanted to, and I killed him in the worst way.
Yeah.
And I took my 9mm and I shot the first one, double tap. Bam, bam. And the other one tried to get away. He looked back, and I shot him, double tap, bam, bam, and he fell. And I'd already killed 4 of them with my M16. This took place in about 3 minutes.
It's very fast. Your whole team was with you there at that part. Mm-hmm. And was this during, what operation were you guys on when that was happening?
That was us going out to kill some bad guys. They drop us in, and we would track them. Sometimes we would go in when they went to the bathroom, we could pick up their dumps and squeeze it to see how hard it was. If it was soft, then we knew they were close by. And I would track them. And my
through the jungle?
Yeah, through the jungle. I'd track them, and my dog would track them. And sometime he would jump on one, and he would kill one by himself. And then, for the most part, though, I was in the lead.
Were you ever concerned the dog would give away your position?
No.
He's pretty quiet?
He was a trained war dog. He went through months of training, and they brought him to me.
Yeah.
Then I trained him to be a part of my team. King was his name.
King
was his name.
King.
And his name is on the War Dog Memorial out in Texas.
There's a War Dog Memorial in Texas?
There's a War Dog Memorial.
What city is that in?
I don't know what the city said. It was out in Texas somewhere, but his name is on that. He was a hero.
King
was a hero. And we brought his body back. And back after he was killed, we brought him to the helicopter. And when we were at the landed helicopter, and I think the crew chief pulled me on board, but I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. That's me. But we got King's body on the helicopter. That one of the worst things I think I had was that I never saw King again.
So you had a pretty close relationship with King then?
I was team leader.
Yeah.
I'd sit night at night, and he would sometimes put his head on my leg, and I'd take the ticks off of him. Whatever was on, whatever things was on him, I would take off, and he would lay his head. He's a huge head, big dog.
Yeah.
And but a lot of ways he was like a puppy. We all carried extra food for King.
So he was part of the family.
He was part of the family.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can't imagine, you build a pretty significant bond with guys going through this type of stuff with them. I imagine the same thing would apply to a dog.
Yeah.
Because you're going through unbelievable levels of adversity,
I want to bring him home. That was my goal because our tour was up.
Yeah.
What is it, a year, I think it was.
So you spent a full year you were there?
Yeah, we were there. Now, we got in
66?
Yeah.
To 7?
66, we got there, and I got wounded in 67.
Okay.
And I spent a year in the hospital.
In Vietnam, you said, right?
I spent a year in Bethesda Hospital.
Okay, Bethesda, that makes sense.
But they had us in different hospitals there in Vietnam.
Right, just to stabilize you until they
Right.
could get you flight out. Yeah, that's what were those hospitals like there in Vietnam?
Well, it was pretty good. I was telling somebody the other day about one of my men, Sergeant Ush. I had one of my troops, they said that he might have jumped on a grenade, and Ernst was part of the group, so I flew down to Da Nang to see Ernst to see what he knew about this. And Ernst had been shot up, and when I got there in the hospital, I heard this crying and screaming. A little Vietnamese girl was in this bed as I come in the door, and she was tied down in the bed, and she was screaming, and I stopped, and I walked over there, and she only had one arm, and she reached out, I reached out, picked her up. I had a child at home, and I'm start holding this child, Vietnamese child. She was just crying, and I'm holding her. Then I realized that, damn, I got to get down there and see Sergeant Ernst, because he was a witness to a kid who they said jumped on a grenade, was killed. But anyway, I set the child down, and I started to walk down. There was a long hallway, I guess. And she started crying again, crying again. So I turned around, I went back, and I picked her up. What do I do now? I need to see Sergeant Ernst, and whether it's bad, I got to get this bird back to Quezon. But I want to stay there with that child. Didn't want to leave that child. But I put her down, and I turned around and walked away. I could hear her crying, and I walked away, and I kept walking until I saw Sergeant Yerman. He had bandages all over his arms, and he had that big grin. "Hey, Lieutenant, I'm going home." I said, "Yeah, Sergeant, we're all going to go home one day." He said, "Yeah, but no, I'm going home next week." And I said, "Well, calm down now. Tell me what happened there with Scanlon." Scanlon was killed, and
because he was the one who jumped on the grenade, right?
Yeah.
Was that, and that was to save other people's lives, I imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the whole deal. I wasn't there, but I was trying to get Sergeant Ernst, because he was there. But he was happy. He was going home. He shot all the hell off, so his arms were messed up. He told me he threw a bunch of grenades, but a couple of them didn't go off.
They were duds?
But at any rate, while I was talking to Ernst, this Marine in Iraq across the hall there, he was crying and said he was crying for water, water, water. And I asked the corpsman, "Hey, Doc, what's going on? Why can't you give me?" He said, "No, he's got a stomach wound, and I can't give him any water. You know, can't you do something?" And another corpsman said, "He's going to die anyway."
Another corpsman said that?
Another corpsman said, he's gone, he's dying anyway. He's going to die anyway. And for some reason, PTSD kicked in, and I grabbed the corpsman.
You were frustrated with him not doing something to help, probably?
Yeah. And Sergeant Ernst, who was in the bed, he said, "Lieutenant, let him go, let him go." And I didn't realize I had grabbed him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I let him go, and I came back to Sergeant Ernst. Then the CO of the hospital come down, and he said, "Hey, Lieutenant, you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm all right." He said, "Looks like you had an incident here." And there was a nurse there that came with him and said, "Why don't you stay here with us for a while? Well, it looks like you have some issues there. And I'm the CO of the hospital, and I don't think I can let you out of here now. You would stay with us." I said, "Doc, I got to get back to Quezon. There's hell going on up there. I can't stay here."
The rest of your team was in Quezon still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were only supposed to be gone for like a day just to go check on this one guy, yeah?
His name was Ernst.
Ernst. Sergeant Ernst.
Yeah, Sergeant Ernst.
Yeah.
You got it. So at any rate, I told the doc, I said, "Listen, we had a lot of wounded up there, so I got to get back up there. I'm one of the few officers that's left." And then I really wasn't an officer. They had just commissioned me, But he said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you stay here for a while and take a break?" He said, "I'll write you a letter, whatever you need." I said, "I don't need any letter, Doc. I'm going back to Quezon." He said, "Well, at least stay here with us for a while. Let us feed you." And there was some music playing, elevator music, And the nurse says, "Well, why don't you come back here to the nurse's office and have a quick bite to eat," or something like that. I said, "Okay." So I went back to the office. She said, "Why don't you take off your boots?" I don't take off my boots, but that's, so I said, "No, I'll keep my boots on." So she sat down, and she had this perfume. I hadn't smelled perfume since I left home.
Like a year ago.
Yeah, and she was such a nice young lady. And my goodness, she said, "Why don't you take a nap?" She says, "I'll watch for you." I said, "Nobody will come in here." And she sat down by the door, and I leaned back in the chair. Then a bomb went off, and I jumped up and headed for the door. She said, "Lieutenant, it's okay. We have these bombs all the time, I sat back down, listened to the music. It was warm, and somebody was cooking something. I smelled something cooking, and I felt comfortable. And the nurse was still there. She sat there. But eventually I felt like, I got to go. So I got up, started walking to the door, and she said, "Lieutenant, it's okay. The CO said you can stay here, and he'll write a letter to your command." And I said, "No, nurse, I am the command. I'm the command. I have to go back now." And I got up, and I had my pistol with me, my 9mm. I left my rifle, I think, back up at Quezon. But I had my pistol, and I looked at it and made sure I had a magazine in it, and I put it back in my holster, and I started walking out the door. And she said, Lieutenant, you ought to come back here now. I heard about Kasan. You ought to come back. And I said, thank you for what you've done. You know, and when I was there, I told her about my wife and my son, and she seemed so interested. These are the young ladies who was on the front lines with guys like me, the heroes. And I walked out the door, and she said, well, I'll walk to you to the helicopter. And walking down that hall, I heard this child crying. I couldn't do it.
This is the same one?
Yeah, the child that was tied to the bed. I heard her crying, and I couldn't go that way. And I told the nurse, let's go a different way to get to the helicopter. She said, okay, so she took me around away from where the child was crying. It was raining like hell out there. The chopper landed, and I walked out, you know. It was muddy, and I walked out to where the chopper was, and the nurse tripped and got muddy, and I tried to help her up.
She fell in the mud.
She fell in the mud, yeah. It was raining, she fell in the mud. And she, it wasn't a helicopter, it was a Jeep that was waiting for me to take me to where the helicopter was.
Okay, makes sense.
So the Jeep guy said, come on, Lieutenant, we're gonna have to go. And the young lady said, Lieutenant, don't go. If you stay here, you live. You live if you stay, we'll protect you. But if you go back to Kasan, what about your wife? What about your child? Stay here with us. And I turned around and walked away. But I remembered her with the mud on her, saying, don't go. And
the nurse.
The nurse.
Yeah.
And I got in the Jeep, and the driver took me to the airport, and I got in a chopper, and I flew back to Kasan. And there was only 4 Marines that I knew still left alive.
Only 4?
4. They were out there playing football or something. And I walked down and told them I'm back now. We got a mission. Tomorrow, we go back in the jungles tomorrow.
So you got back in the evening and they were tossing football around?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the other 3?
There was 4 that I saw.
Yeah.
Now, and I think there was some others on a patrol somewhere. They weren't at the base. When I got back to the base, there was only 4 Marines that I knew. The rest of them were deployed. But we all got back together. And they sent a major in. I was tired, and I was sitting in the office, and they came and got me and said, Lieutenant, we got a crisis. I said, what's up? A major was coming in from Dong Ha, and his helicopter crashed. And, we're going to figure out a way to get his men and him out of the crash site. So I went over to the operational place, and I got the command together. And I said, okay, let's get a chopper ready, and we'll go out and get them. And I think it was Sergeant Yerman says, no, Lieutenant, you can't go. He said, I'll go. And
why did he say that you couldn't go?
I wasn't doing all that well. He was protecting me. When I got home, I only weighed 120 pounds.
Oh, you'd lost a lot of weight from not eating enough and not taking care of yourself while you were there?
Took care of the men. I never ate a meal until my men ate. Let them eat. Give them the ammunition. I'll fight. But at any rate.
So they were spinning up a mission to get you guys a helicopter to go rescue that major with their helicopter that crashed?
Yeah, they got him in. They got him in, and they brought him to their office, and I met him. I'm a second lieutenant. And he said, "Who the hell are you?" I said, "I'm Lieutenant Capers." He said, "I didn't know we had any Negro Marines officers." I said, "Yeah, you're looking at one right now, Major." You know. And I said, "Oh, by the way, I can fight. Don't play with me." I fight. But he probably had never seen a black Marine before, black Marine officer before.
Was that major in the Army?
He was Marine Major.
He was a Marine major.
Yeah.
It's weird that he wouldn't have.
Well, he was the XO of another unit. When he heard we were in trouble, he came out there and he got shot down, and we had to get him back. So we got him back, and they brought him over to me. And when they brought him over to me, he was surprised that I was in command there. I really wasn't in command, but I'm what they had. I'm all you got.
Right.
But anyway, he stayed there with me, and he talked to me about just who the hell you are anyway, because he was just surprised, like, damn, we got a black Marine here running Kasan. You know, the colonel got relieved. He was no good anyway.
The colonel?
Yeah.
That Kasan got relieved?
Yeah, he was a base commander.
Okay.
He wasn't. I got him out of there because I didn't want him to get killed or get everybody else killed. So I'm trying to send patrols out and trying to keep the base safe and those type of things you do in a desperate situation, because the NVA was hitting us pretty hard. You know, they'd attack the base at night, and we send them back bleeding.
Was that on a regular basis? They would attack every single night? Try to keep you from sleeping?
Yeah, we had Hanoi Hannah, who was a broadcaster, and you could hear her broadcasting at night. Yankees, you go home. Americans, you die. And then she'd play some kind of music.
So that was real?
Yeah, you could hear that stuff.
I'd heard people talking about that Hanoi Hannah before. Yeah, because it was like propaganda, kind of like what the North Koreans do with the South Koreans. I didn't realize that was a real thing.
That was real.
And you could hear that from Kasan?
You could hear it.
Wow.
You could hear her saying, Yankees or Americans, you die. And then she'd play music. And then she'd laugh. Yeah.
Do you think that had an impact on your men?
No, hell.
Not your men, but any of the men out there.
Come get us.
Oh,
okay, come on.
Yeah.
We're here. One night, I was moving from one position, and I saw this Marine, and I said, "Marine, come with me." Said, "Yes, sir." And I was trying to figure out how the hell we're going to defend this base tonight. How we know they're coming. How we're going to do this. And the Marine, he moved over here where you are. And I was looking at him, and he looked tired. He said, "Sir, I'm a little tired. Can I sit down for a minute? Can I sit for a minute?" I said, "Yes, son." And he sat down next to me. I said, "You okay, son?" And when I heard the NVA coming, and guys were getting ready and things like that, and I told the kid, I said, "I hear him coming now." And he didn't say anything. And I touched him, and he fell over dead. He was sitting by my leg right there, and he had a hole in his chest, and I didn't see it. And he fell over, and he didn't get up. He was dead. I looked at his chest. Then they
Where was this?
Kasan.
This is in Kasan. So he just asked if he could like sit down and take a rest.
Sit down for a minute.
But he had been obviously
Wounded.
gravely wounded, and he just didn't tell you.
You know, he said, I'm just a little tired.
Yeah, imagine after
Can I sit
bleeding that
down
much.
for a minute? Let me rest for a minute. Never got up. You know, brave man, warriors. They never quit. They never took Kasan.
No, they didn't.
Never took Kasan.
They tried a lot, though. They tried a lot.
Yeah, but we will never defeat it.
No.
Nobody ever defeated us.
No, they didn't. Let me ask you this. What mission were you on, or what happened leading up to when you got your battlefield commission? Was it a specific mission you went on that actually was the reason why they were like, we're going to give that guy battlefield commission?
Probably a combination of things. I had already done the ship bottom searches and damn near got eaten up by sharks and everything, but I was good at what I did. And battalion commander, well, I think a part of my record book had something to do with it too, but I got attached to the 3rd Recon Battalion. And one day, Sergeant Major called me, and then the Colonel called me in, and they took off my Staff Sergeant Shevins, and he put on lieutenant bars.
Just right there.
Right there.
Nobody told you ahead of time or nothing?
No, just took them off and put on lieutenant bars.
How surprised were you when that happened?
And the Sergeant Major saluted me, and the Colonel said some nice things. And I walked out, it was raining.
Of course, naturally.
And Sergeant Yerman, who's gone now, he's buried up in Arlington. He was there, and he shook my hand and saluted me. My first salute I got as an officer. Good man, tough man. He was wounded at Phu Loc along with me.
Sergeant Yerman?
Sergeant Yerman.
At Phu Loc is where he got injured?
Yeah, he's gone now. I went to his eulogy in Arlington National Cemetery. I went up there to do that for him.
You guys were very close, I imagine?
Very close. He was my platoon sergeant.
That was your platoon sergeant?
Yeah.
Was he a staff sergeant at the time, or just
Sergeant E5?
Okay, E5.
Good man. He did so many things for me. I can't even remember all of it. We were together all that time. And even after the war, we still became very close. He married and divorced and had a place out in Arizona. He lived on a mountain. And I had have some folks find him for me. So I flew out there, and I took him to a hospital. I forget where it was. I spent time. I brought him back to that mountain he had on there in Arizona, and had a fireplace in there, you know. And we sat there and we talked about the war. And one night, he was complaining. And I said, Sarge, it's all right. I'm here with you now. He said, well, nobody cares about me. I don't matter anymore. And I said, well, you matter to me. And he said something else. And I said, knock it off, Sarge. Well, we could hear these wolves, a bunch of wolves out there around where he lives. And you could hear him howling. And I sat there with him by that potbelly stove. And he sat there or laid there in his bed. Then he kept saying something that the country don't give a damn about him anymore. And he said something to me. I said, Sarge, I'm with you now. So I'll come out here, I'll come out here to live with you, or come out here to die with you. because he'd picked up a pistol and said, I'll just end it all. You know, I'll just go ahead. And he picked up the pistol, and I saw the light from the potbelly stove, and I grabbed the pistol, and I said, don't you ever threaten me, Sarge, with death. I know what death is. I was with you, remember? You say nobody cares. I was with you every step of the way. And he started to cry, and I grabbed him, and you hear the fireplace crackling. 2 warriors on the top of the mountain trying to figure it all out.
He had some demons he was working with?
He went away. He found that mountain out there. Yeah, good man. Probably only friend I ever had.
And when, what year was that when he passed away?
I don't remember.
23? 2023? Just a couple years ago?
Yeah.
And you say he's buried in Arlington?
Yeah.
You were able to make it up there to his...
Yeah, I went to his funeral.
Okay.
And his first wife was there. She came.
That's good.
And interesting guy, smart, had a PhD.
No kidding. In what?
I don't know.
Well, PhD's a PhD, I guess. I'm not smart enough for a PhD.
He
So
went to school and kept going to school, and smart guy. I loved him. And we fought together. When I got hit that last time, he come running over. He jumped on me, said, Lieutenant, you've been shot. I said, hell, I know that. Get off me. He jumped on me.
Hell, I know that.
He jumped on me.
Jeez.
To tell me that I've been shot. Hell, I know there's blood all over the place. Get off of me.
Was he trying to, like, perform aid on you or anything, or just, like, letting you know you've been shot?
No, he just, I don't know what everybody was shooting everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it was gunfire like in this room here. Everybody's shooting. And
that's how close quarters it was.
Yeah. We had close quarter combat. We had hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, we were trained for that. But at the end, you know, it all came together. And we lost some good men. But Sergeant Yerman and I survived it. I had a happy life. His was not good.
He had a rough time after getting back?
Yeah.
Did he have, like, really... I know a lot of guys got back from Vietnam, and you guys didn't get treated very well.
No, he had serious... You know, I got a call from the police department in Arizona, and they said that they had Sergeant Yerman out there, and he had done something. So the police said, well, you need to talk to him. So they put Sergeant Yerman on the phone. I said, what's going on? And I don't know, he had done something. So I told the police. I said, listen, let me handle it. Because you got a situation now that you're not going to be able to handle the man that you have there.
Yeah.
I know him, I trained him. And you can't afford to lose the amount of men that you lose if you try to strong arm him. So I talked to Sergeant Yerman, and I talked him down. I said, I'll tell you what now, I want you to stand down. I don't want you to hurt anybody. Because I'll come out there now, and we'll figure it out. You
talked to him on the phone?
On the phone, yeah.
Okay.
And then I said, well, give the phone back to the police. And I was on the phone, talked to the police. I said, say, I got it now. He belongs to me, but I want you to leave him there, and he'll find his way back home. But don't attempt to arrest him because you lose too many men You can't contain him. He's got serious PTSD, and he will kill you all. And he's always, Sergeant Yerman always carried a pistol with him.
Yeah.
He had in a holster. You know, he never gave up the combat, and he would have killed too many policemen. So I just told him, let him go. You know, I got him, and I'll be responsible for him. And he walked away.
They listened to you?
He listened.
Okay.
Talked him down. And then the next call I got was from his ex-wife. She called me, and he was parked out in front of her house.
Oh, no.
Damn.
You're like, man, why are you doing this to me right now?
Yeah. That's Sergeant Yerman.
Yeah.
So she called the police. So he was just parked on the street.
Yeah.
But she was afraid of him. And so she called the cops, and then I get involved with the policeman there. And I said, is he hurt anybody? He said, no, he just parked out there. But he wants to go in to see his daughter.
Do you think he'd been drinking at this point or anything?
I'm sure he had been, or something like that.
That's tough. That's a tough situation.
Well, the daughter died eventually. Here we go again.
Did?
Yeah, his daughter died.
What? From what?
I don't really know. But
While he was still alive, though?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. He'd gone there to see her, and his wife didn't want him to see the daughter. So he's parked outside, and she called the cops, and then the cops called me. But eventually she passed away, and I saw his wife again when he passed away.
At the funeral?
Yeah.
When he passed away, yeah?
Yeah, she flew to Arlington. From
Arizona?
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about something more pleasant.
Yeah, I think that's good. So, let's see here. You got back from Vietnam. You recovered from injuries. How much longer were you in the Marine Corps for before you...
I retired in 78.
78, okay, so probably another 10 more years. And I know you did some like recruiting stuff when you got back, correct?
Well, that recruiting poster right there, that's Marine Corps recruiting poster.
Right. And that's you.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you start doing the recruiting stuff?
Well, the Secretary of the Navy was looking for more African Americans to the Vietnam War was not a popular war.
No.
And a lot of African Americans didn't join. No, and some did, of course. But the Secretary of the Navy called me and said he wanted me to start doing recruiting to bring more African Americans in. And so he arranged for the J. Walter Thompson recruiting company come to, what was that, Fort Meade, Maryland, Army base.
Okay, Fort Meade.
They took all these pictures, and they recruited a lot of African-American Marines and regular Marines. I had just got out of the hospital, and I was having trouble walking. And
just from the injuries you sustained from Vietnam?
And I didn't have an officer's uniform at first. Remember, I was an enlisted guy.
That's true, because you got back and you just got pinned on your work uniform, like your combat uniform, not your actual dress uniform. Did you have to go buy all that stuff brand new from Quantico?
I went to Quantico. My wife drove me there because I couldn't drive. And went down to get all that stuff there, and very expensive.
The Marine shop?
Yeah.
Down there in Quantico town, Q-Town?
So I got all that new stuff there, and they took me to a golf course, and they stood me up out there and had some Marines behind me. Beautiful picture. They took 600 pictures.
600? Jeez.
And they put 3 out, and they were very popular.
Yeah. Well, obviously, this was, an extremely popular recruiting picture. I've seen that everywhere.
Yeah.
Even today.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just goes to show you the longevity of that.
Yeah, I was proud. Matter of fact, that morning, I had my uniform, and my wife and I were in the living room, and she had helped me put this uniform on. And as she put my cover on, I looked in the mirror, and I was now an officer of Marines. And I had the medals on and all of that. And she walked me to the door and she kissed me. She said, "Good luck." And I got in my car and I drove over, and the band was there, and dozens of Marines was there, and you know, a beautiful sight, a golf course, and the J. Walter Thompson Company from New York. They were there. They took the pictures, and we had a platoon there with me who had the rifles, and they threw the rifles up in there. And
Oh, like the drill guys?
They did all that. It was so much fun. You know, and I stood out there, and the Marine behind me, he's dead now. He was one behind me, and I was still having trouble standing, and he had his hand in my back. He was whispering to me, "It's okay, Lieutenant. I got you. I got you." He died, but I couldn't have done it without him.
So he helped you stay steady?
Yeah, both my legs have been broken, and now the chief takes me around in a wheelchair.
Well,
all those things up in Washington and different places. He was the one, because I really couldn't walk very well. Both my legs, I got scars all over them and still got metal in it. So he puts me in the chair and wheels me around. When I went to see the Secretary of Defense, he wheeled me there and he talked to the Secretary.
And this is recently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was that?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Not long ago.
Yeah. Good memories. Good memories.
So you got these recruiting posters, pictures done. They started posting them all over the place in recruiting stations across the United States. What did you do for the rest of the 10 years that you spent in the Marine Corps, like during this period?
Well,
was it mainly focused on recruiting efforts at that point?
No. I went to a school for 6 months. I was a captain at that time. I went to school. Then I came back to infantry.
Okay. What school was it that you were in for 6 months?
Amphibious Warfare School.
Amphibious Warfare, okay.
Yeah, that's for captains and majors.
Oh, it's like captain's career course, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, like PME?
Yeah, something like that. I did that. And they sent me to Camp Lejeune, and I took over a company called Golf Company, 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines.
2-2?
2-2.
Okay, so back on your old stomping grounds from 1-2, now you're 2-2.
I was second CO of Golf Company. Then when I got there, the colonel called me in. I was the only black captain they had there in the whole regiment.
The whole regiment?
Yeah, the whole regiment, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Didn't have a lot of black officers back in them days. You know, so he called me in, welcomed me to the regiment, and he said, "I've never had command of an African-American Marine Corps officer." He said, "You're going to help me as I help you." And I said, "Well, I'm probably going to need all the help I can get." He said, "I'm going to give you a rifle company, but there's nobody in it right now. There's no troops there." But he said, "I'll build it for you. I'll give you troops in it, and you can train them. And I think you'll do well." I had 3 Marines in that company. I had a first sergeant and a kid that handled the record books. That's about all I had. And then I came in and I took command. I spent 3 years there, deployed to a lot of different places, and they started giving me Marines. Unfortunately, some of the Marines they gave me had just got out of the brig, and some of them
really
were rascals. Yeah, so that's how I built it up.
So they built it up piece by piece.
Yeah.
You didn't start off with a whole company of Marines.
No, I had 3 guys. And then they started giving me guys that nobody else wanted.
We were that short-handed back then?
Yeah, you see, they would get guys from other rifle companies, and the COs would send me the guys they didn't want.
Oh, no.
They were getting rid of the guys, send them over to Capers, he needs all the help he can get.
You sent all the problem children over?
But I got them in, and I had a ball.
Did you?
I mean, I had some guys that were, I had to really work hard on. Some of them were crooks and thieves and whatever. But I let them know that I was their commanding officer. And I'd go the last mile with them. And they began to realize that this guy may be the real deal.
Yeah.
He just may be the real deal. So let's give him a chance. And some of the guys that I had were some of the young black guys from New York, Philadelphia, but they had got in trouble. So they decided that we heard this guy's from Baltimore, so let's give him a hand. And we had a lot of pay problems back in those days. The pay didn't go the way it's supposed to go.
It was all jacked up.
Yeah. So these guys would go out and gamble.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Here in Lejeune?
Yeah. They would go out and gamble.
Where were they gambling?
They make money for the guys who didn't get paid. They would come in and give the guys in the company, here's $30, whatever. I mean, they were trying to make the company better. Now, I didn't go along with the gambling thing, but this was their way of saying, let's build this company up. They built it up. Then I had a staff sergeant, and my first sergeant, he left, he retired. So I got in a gunny, and the gunny and some of the troops made that company. Then, about 6 months in, they sent me 4 officers, 4 second lieutenants.
To be your platoon commanders.
Yeah, and I had to train those guys.
That's how long it took from when you took command to when you actually got lieutenants?
Right.
4-6 months.
I got 4 lieutenants, and one of them called me last week. He got out. He's a preacher now in South Carolina.
Oh, God bless him.
Yeah, but anyway, I got them together, all 4 lieutenants, and I deployed, and they was the number 1 company in the division. They won that.
Like division competition?
Right.
They won that?
Yeah, they won it. We went to Panama. Went to different places, and they did all of the various operations but they were good. All of the various operations, they could do this stuff. They'd been to boot camp.
Yeah.
They'd been to ITR, but they just needed to realize that I'm going to kick your ass if you get in trouble. I'm giving you an operation, but don't play me.
Yeah.
Because I've been to battle. If you see these damn Purple Hearts I got,
don't play around.
That's right.
Yeah. Stay out of trouble.
But I enjoyed it. Then I stayed there for 3 years.
How many Marines did you end up getting once you filled the whole company out? Did you have about 100 of them?
So I had about 260.
260?
Yeah.
Okay. So you started off with a skeleton crew and built it all out.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you were leaving, they won the squad. They won the division competition as a company.
Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, we went to Panama, and we had a competition with the Army, and we won that too.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you got to make sure they know you keep them in their place.
Oh, I still hear from some of those guys. They were good. I was proud of them. It wasn't like combat.
Yeah.
But my experience in combat, was good for them because I was a 3rd-degree black belt and I could handle myself.
Yeah.
So I used to teach martial arts, made them better than what they were. They thought they could do this, but they weren't, so I was professional.
Yeah.
So I taught martial arts, something like 2-3 times a week. I'd get them out there and throw them around and let them know that I can fight. So you don't play with me because I'll knock you out.
Did you teach your platoon commanders as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had some stuff in Quantico when it went through.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Did you guys at that time do line training still?
I don't know. I didn't ever went to OCS.
Yeah. Well, I know that just the Marine Corps in general, they didn't have like the Marine, because now they've got the Marine Corps martial arts program. You tracking on that? So I know back before that was everything, they did line training, which was supposed to be like combatives training. I don't know if you guys got any basic like hand-to-hand combatives training.
No. I was the company martial arts expert.
Okay.
Wherever I went.
So you just made sure people were physically capable to defend themselves with their hands.
Right. And all the other things that they needed, weapons and, when I was in the Marine Pathfinders, they sent us to the Zambales jungle. And they were inhabited by a group of pygmies. They were called Negritos, and they lived in that jungle there. And we parachuted in to learn to live off the land. Yeah, we did that with them.
Where was this?
The Zambales jungle.
Zambales?
No, it's off the coast of the Philippines.
Oh, okay. Off the coast of the Philippines.
Yeah.
So that's pretty thick jungle probably down this rainforest. Yeah.
Yeah, we lived there and we learned to live off the land. And
what kind of animals they have down there to eat?
Oh, well, they had, for the most part, what I can see, of course, we did a lot of fishing.
Okay.
But they had goats, a lot of goats, and we could catch the goats and we could eat the goats.
Okay.
Eat the goat. Not everybody like to think about that, but they taught us how to live off the land and eat anything that, keep you alive. And I remember the goats that they had there. And this was the Zambales jungle. And the chief was a guy about that tall. He had a
he's like 4
white
foot.
Beard.
Mm-hmm. He's like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, something like that. And he had a white beard. He had this stick that he used to walk along with us with this stick. And if he saw something, he'd point out. And facial expressions, if he saw a plant that he thought was poisonous, he would say, no, you're not supposed to eat that,
Okay, so he would let you know not to eat poisonous stuff at least, or he would stop you if you looked like you were getting ready. Okay.
So he took us fishing.
This is all Marine Corps sanctioned training for Pathfinder School.
Yeah, well.
Or was it the Army that was helping?
No, it was a Navy base.
Okay.
A Navy base, but the tribe there were Negritos, which had immigrated from Africa 2,000 years ago.
Oh, interesting.
And so they figured out a way that guys like us who needed that training, they sent us there. And the way we got there, we parachuted in and we made friends with them.
You parachuted in?
Yeah, we parachuted in.
And so you're locked in at that point. Like, did you have radios at least?
Yeah, we had radios, but they saw us land and we made contact with them and they told us stories. Some broken English.
Yeah.
And they had a ball with me because I looked like them. And they wondered, now this guy come out of the sky, he's black like us, what's going on here?
Yeah, I bet they were probably like, what the hell's going on? Like, I'm sure there were some questions.
I had a ball with the children. They used to come by and look at me and they would dance around me. And one of them come up and rub my arm, to see if it was going to come off, if the darkness.
Oh, they thought it was going to come off. Yeah.
So it was a lot of, for me, I loved the experience. I'd never had anything like that before.
Yeah, that's valuable. I mean, we could definitely benefit from that today.
Yeah.
Like how to live off the land. I know the Marine Corps wants to do more like sustainment training, because like if we do end up conducting these austere operations in the South China Sea, these like little archipelagos, people need to know how to kill a pig, skin it, cook it, how to clean it, how to fish, how to filter water, how to do all that stuff, how to eat, like what type of plants you can eat. That's all super valuable stuff to learn.
What we had to do is learn to eat a porcupine.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell. I don't even know where to start with that.
That was a challenge.
Eating a porcupine? You got to shave all the spikes off?
Yeah.
But you can eat one.
Yeah, but you have to boil them. You put them in the water and you boil them for about an hour or so. Then you have to get the little quills off.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That sounds like it'd be labor intensive.
It was.
Was the juice worth the squeeze though?
I didn't like the meat. The meat was not very good.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Okay.
The meat was tough. I've eaten snakes. I've eaten, everything you can think of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the first time you'd ever had porcupine.
Yeah.
I didn't even know people could eat porcupines.
Well, you have to cook them now. You put them in the water. You have to kill him first.
Yeah.
Put them in the water, and you really got to heat it up. Then you get the quills off.
The quills come out easier after it's been boiled?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then you could eat the meat.
Yeah.
I've eaten some of everything. Yeah. I was a survivor.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good training, especially for folks that are doing the line of work that you were in. Folks that are going to be doing missions in austere environments in small groups. It's probably pretty valuable to know how to live off the land, because you can't just pack out 3 weeks of food in your pack. You just don't. There's no way to do that. Maybe you take a few days of food, and then you try to sustain while you're out there doing these things. But
we used to take fish. We'd dig a hole, put some sort of wood or something would burn in there, and we would cook the fish. We would take like a banana leaf and put the fish in a banana leaf and put the banana leaf in the hole there. And of course you got wood and whatever there.
Yeah.
And that's how you would cook the fish in the banana leaf. And the meat is very good. It's tender.
Yeah.
We learned to do all of that in the Zambales jungle.
And you probably just eat the fish right off the leaf there.
Yeah.
Anyway. Make it kind of like a plate.
Yeah. Did it all.
Yeah. Well, that's good training. I think that we could benefit from that if we had things like that today. I mean, maybe the Marine Corps, I'm sure they're probably looking into some stuff, because I know that they want to try to figure a way to train Marines, like broadly speaking, on how to sustain themselves in austere environments. Because that's one of the things the Marine Corps prides itself on, is being expeditionary. And part of being expeditionary is being able to survive off of the land in an austere environment.
Taught the Marine Corps a few years ago. After my wife passed, they called me and I went out to the base out there and I taught the martial arts program. They got a martial arts program and they had 4 women in the program. I'd never seen that before, but they were there, and I taught martial arts. And
this is when you were a captain or a major?
No, this a couple of years ago.
Oh, a couple of years ago. Oh, no kidding.
And they called me out there to teach the martial arts program.
Oh, wow.
I did it for the Raiders.
Oh,
and,
okay.
It's a course they taught, and a lot of women was in it. They came out to the house and got me, and they drove me out to the building, and it was kind of good. I mean, I don't think they could fight, I mean, years ago, I used to take my guys and put them in a room, and I turn the lights out. Now you kill me. I'm in the room with you now. You come get me.
Oh, jeez.
Now, if you miss, you're in trouble.
You just turn the lights out and lock yourself in the room?
Yeah. Well,
oh, my God.
Yeah. That was fun.
Well, good luck writing an ORM on something like that these days. I don't know if they'd be able to sleep that one by the CO or whatever.
I would get on the floor, and they didn't know where I was, and I'd crawl around, and I'd grab somebody by the leg, or I'd jump up and grab them do a hadakajima on the throat or something like that. And a lot of screaming. They didn't know what was going on.
I'm sure. Well, most
I was
people
on the ground. I was on the floor. And I'd make some kind of a noise over here, and they'd look over here, and I'd be over there.
Jeez.
They don't do that kind of stuff anymore.
No. Although there's definitely benefit for that. I think there's definitely some value in that for sure. The one good thing I will say about the martial arts program is that they do empower martial arts instructors to be creative with the training they set up. Now, I don't know if there's an instructor out there who is as creative as that necessarily, but they do empower them to like come up with creative methods. So I think that's
important. Black belt. I hold a black belt.
Yeah, 3rd degree, right?
I have a 3rd degree black belt.
Yeah. Which you earned quite some time ago because you set out on that early.
Yeah, now because of my injuries, if I get in trouble, I'll call Frank. He's a Coast Guard guy now, and they know what they're doing.
Okay, my wife's in the Coast Guard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's a law enforcement training officer for the Coast Guard. Yeah. So she actually she was doing a fitness competition this past weekend in Dallas, but so she'll be back this week for Thanksgiving and stuff.
I did the stuff for the CIA. I had one of my sergeants. He ended up retiring as a 2-star general in the CIA.
In the CIA?
In the CIA, yeah.
How do you like that?
He did it good. Did good.
He must have liked it if he stayed that long.
I talked to him last week.
Okay, he's still alive.
Yeah, and I went up to Langley and sat down and talked to him just like I'm talking to you. They had some agents there, young guys, and I had fun with it. I was never an agent.
Yeah.
But I did all of the stuff along the way.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Would you have ever wanted to be an agent if you could go back and change things?
No. They gave me the authority to do that. But I had a wife and a son. I'd been gone a long time, and I decided to stay home. But yeah, I could do the work. But because it required me to go here and go there and do things that I chose not to do anymore.
Yeah.
And some of the things, plus their training is 6 months. I talked to them after I retired or before I retired.
Yeah.
Oh, they come to my house and this or that. Plus I was a black guy and they needed that. A lot of units needed that.
Yeah.
No, but I needed my family.
I can understand that.
And I stayed home and I retired and never deployed. I did a couple small things, but just to help out. But now I'm enjoying talking to young men like yourself and hearing your stories.
Well, our stories aren't honestly as intense as yours. And I like hearing your stories, and I like being able to be a conduit to relay information. And I think a lot of people are going to benefit from hearing your story.
Well, come by the house sometimes. I live right here in Jacksonville.
Okay.
Come by the house. I live alone. I'm a widower. There's a lot of mementos in the house, or memories. Come by, take a look at it. See some of the signs there, the things that you might enjoy. You may already know about these things. But the life I lived from 1956, when Eisenhower was president, I got a letter from Eisenhower.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Signed by him?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Well, it wasn't just to me, it was my whole unit.
Oh, the whole unit got one. What was it for? For Lebanon?
I think it was from Lebanon. Yeah.
Okay.
And I got one from Nixon, personal letter.
A personal letter?
From Nixon. I have a personal letter from John McCain's father, Admiral McCain.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I have a letter from the wife of the famous General Puller.
Oh, you mean Chesty Puller?
Chesty Puller.
Louis P. Chesty Puller.
I went to visit his wife. We ran from Philadelphia to Camp Lejeune.
You ran?
We ran.
Was that for like a fundraiser or something?
It was Marine Corps birthday or something like that.
Oh, okay. That
It
makes
was
sense.
3 days.
3 days.
3 days. Yep. This is after the war. We stopped off at Saluda, Virginia, where Puller had lived. He had passed away.
Did you ever meet him?
No. I saw him once.
Did you?
From a distance. He was at Paris Island, and he'd gone down there to talk to somebody about, I think, 6 Marines that drowned in a place called Ribbons Creek. And it was a big deal all over the media and whatever.
Oh, was that when the drill instructor marched him into the swamp?
Yeah.
You were down there when that was going on?
No, I was there when he came through.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I'd gotten there in April. No,
Okay.
I got there in June. And he come down there to talk about leadership and different things like that. And the media was happy to see him show up.
Yeah.
But then when I was CO of 2nd Force, we ran to Saluda, Virginia, visited Mrs. Puller. She showed us his house and all of his mementos, and very nice lady. Her name was Virginia. And when I got back, she wrote me a very nice letter. I have that. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that would be of value today. To come by, take a look at my den. There's some historical things there.
Yeah.
I have a lot of books. Of course, the ones I wrote. I got another one other than that.
So just for those of you out there, just in case you haven't seen this, this is Major James Caper's book. It's called Faith Through the Storm, Memoirs of Major James Capers. I imagine you put all of your experiences, your entire life story.
No, I couldn't do that. But I have in there some letters that I wrote home to my wife. I put copies of those letters in there.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you about that because I know you said you were in Vietnam for a full year. Mm-hmm. So you would have probably at least at some point sent some letters home or received some, right?
Yeah. She kept a copy of the letters.
Did she?
And I still write to her.
Yeah.
Even though she's gone, I'll sit down and say, "Hey, sweetheart, today I went over and I saw, what's your name?"
Kagan Dunlap, sir.
I went to see Kagan Dunlap. She'll probably say, "Who is that?"
That's probably exactly what you would say. So who the hell is that guy? I've never heard of that person.
Well, he was a nice young man. He spoke well. He has a good memory. And his wife, tell me about your wife again.
She's in the Coast Guard.
In the Coast Guard.
Law enforcement training instructor.
Is she a swimmer?
She can swim.
Yeah.
She can swim. But I wouldn't say she's not like a fish, but she does a lot of boat stuff.
Good.
I mean, she trains Coast Guardsmen all over the country. They travel around and kind of help teach law enforcement tactics and training to different sectors around the country.
And when I write to her the next time, which will probably be this evening, that he's a nice young man.
I appreciate that, sir.
And he's a Marine. And what is your rank?
First lieutenant now.
First lieutenant. Going to be a captain.
Yes, sir. Hopefully, as long as we make it.
You'll make it.
I think so.
What else can we do for you, son?
Well, I just real quick to wrap it up, I want to make sure I mention this. So for those of you out there that don't realize this, there is a large movement going on. There's an organization, a group of people who are pushing to upgrade this gentleman's Silver Star to a Medal of Honor. And just based on the limited information that I have on it, I'd say I would agree with the fact that it should 100% be upgraded just because you have experienced and done some things that most human beings on this earth will never do. Because, I mean, absolutely incredible story, achievements that are above and beyond anything anybody could ever ask of a human being in America to voluntarily do for their country. And so I would encourage you to look into what's going on with that. I know that you're very busy. You go to a lot of different events all over the country, and I know that there's some good people out there that are fighting to get you the Medal of Honor or get your awards upgraded to what it should be, based on the things that you did. And so I look forward to hearing more about that and to kind of keeping an ear out to see what the status of that stuff is. And I hope it works out because you've done a lot, you sacrificed a lot, you went through a lot to get here. And during a time that was very difficult, like coming into the Marine Corps during that time was probably a very strange place, very difficult time. And you went through a lot. I mean, you experienced combat before you ever went to Vietnam. I didn't realize that. And I'm sure a lot of other people out there didn't realize that the Marines went to Lebanon in the 50s or were fighting Syrians over near the Syrian border. Like a lot of people didn't realize that. I certainly didn't. So I learned something today. And that's something I think is what I like to highlight is if you at least learn one thing from every experience you have, then you're doing good. You're doing better. At least for me, I try to take something away. But again, Sir, I know you got stuff to do today. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
All right, son.
It means a lot, and I hope that I hope you keep crushing it out there. And I appreciate you sharing these deeply personal stories about your men that you served with that were some of the greatest men you've ever met in your life.
Yeah.
Obviously, the way you speak about them, I can feel how strongly and passionate you guys were. And how close you were. I don't think there's a way that anybody can get as close as they are other than going through that kind of experience. And I've never felt that, so I don't know what that's like. But
Well, let me sign your book for you.
yeah, hell yeah, let's do it. Yes, sir.
Okay, now, tell me who the hell you are again.
Oh, yeah. Kagan Dunlap, sir.
Who names a child Kagan?
Well,
What the hell is
my parents got it from a folk songwriter.
folk song? Okay.
Yes, sir.
The navicular bone is missing from my right hand.
From your
Your
right hand?
So I don't write very well.
No, you still write better than me. People tell me I write like a doctor because you know how doctors' prescriptions are.
Yeah.
You can't read what the hell it says. Yeah. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. So
What's your wife's name?
Riley. So REI.
R-E?
Yes, sir. REILLY. She's a ME.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sir.
What's an M-E?
Maritime law enforcement instructor. Or maritime law enforcement is what she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though we're on, I can tell you a few things.
Sure.
So it seems like when he and all the team Broadminded after Phu Loc were getting patched up,
Yeah.
that
Thanks, sir.
of course,
Thank you.
Yes,
all
sir.
the general came and showed a guy named Major General Bruno Hodgman. So he's giving all these guys their Purple Heart, and
I appreciate this, sir.
Yeah, appreciate you.
and they get an end of tour award, which is the Bronze Star. But he, being the officer in charge, should have gotten something higher than the Bronze Star, which
Yeah.
is what prompted the awards board to give him the Silver Star. A lot of folks out there think that the submission of the Medal of Honor in the 2007 to 2014 timeframe was downgraded to a Silver Star, and that's not the case. It's actually an end of tour award. It was upgraded for him on an end of tour award. Okay. Now also, he was on morphine, being patched up so he could be forwarded on to either the Philippines or Japan, which he went to Japan because ultimately he'd have to go to Alaska, then have to go to Bethesda.
Yeah.
So Major General Hodgman then there was in the tent where all the team Broadmind's getting patched up. So some of them are more aware, and they heard the general even reach over, kiss him on the forehead, and tell him, Lieutenant, I'm putting you in for the Medal of Honor. Unfortunately, Major General Bruno Hodgman got shot down in a helicopter a few weeks.
That's
back.
right.
So then, when you fast forward and you hear about before he retired that he was in Second Force Recon, well, he brought a couple young lieutenants into a couple young African American lieutenants into Second Force Recon, and one of those was a guy named Jim Williams. So Jim Williams, when he became a brigadier general around the 2007 mark, he wanted to open up the case and make sure that a Medal of Honor was done for the major. So he started it up, and all that 2007 timeframe was also the commandant was Conway. General Conway.
Right.
So these days, we the team were in touch with Conway because Conway never was given anything by the awards board for the approval of the Medal of Honor. Now, what the awards board did do is the citation that was written by the General Williams and submitted, well, it alluded to 3 different campaigns, so it was kicked back because it had to be for a specific campaign. So the General rewrote it, sent it back in specifically for Phu Loc.
Okay.
Ever since that time, it seems like
It's been a battle of bureaucracy.
well, and it seems like the bureaucrats have always come back and said that there's no new evidence, no new evidence. So even the Marine Corps would say no new evidence. So the team that exists now, Team Capers,
Yeah.
we have given. We first of all, we were fortunate that Colonel Lang, who gathered all that information from that time period, kept boxes of it. And then a retired Lieutenant Colonel Marine named David Gurfine, who we affectionately call Bull. Bull went through all of it, and he was able to put together a 19-page white paper that is basically what exists to show all the reasons why the man deserves the Medal of Honor,
Yeah.
recapturing everything. And we've been very fortunate. Our team has a spider web of individuals who are involved. So we've got folks who work in the Pentagon who can assist us. We've got folks who work on staffs who can assist us. We've got a couple of congressmen who are friends and parts of the team.
You know the Secretary of War?
We have had the good fortune of being able to talk to him.
Yep.
And matter of fact, this afternoon, one of the things that the major has to do is sign an autographed poster for each 7 of Pete Hegseth's children, Secretary Hegseth's children.
Oh, wow.
Then also he'll autograph one for the Secretary Hegseth, and I'll get it framed for him. And we also have to give a book to the Secretary and his wife both. So that's one of the little things that he has to do, and he's got 2 other books to sign.
Busy man.
Yeah, he is. But we're making a lot of headway, and we the team feel very strong. And now I do want to say that the team is comprised of those of us who formed under the umbrella called United American Patriots, which Bull runs, but also we have a group called Triple Nickel Black Ops, but they spell it BLK OPS. So if you do any homework on it, BLK OPS. And these are a lot of special operations minorities, veterans who formed, and they try to identify and assist other minorities who may not have gotten their just awards from their services. So we found out that we all had a common variable in the form of Major Capers, and so we are now a team. So under Team Capers, we've got both Triple Nickel, Black Ops, and we've got the United American Patriots, and we're all fighting for the Major. The Major in September went down to Atlanta based off of the Black Ops folks and got a Mighty 25 award that was being given while the Military Influencer Conference was happening. So he got that. And then if we went back to February of 2025, we went to Columbus, Ohio, to the National Veterans Memorial Museum, who inducted this man. We had a call to action there,
Right.
that Black Ops put together, and we UAP showed up as well. But this man then got inducted by an honorary membership into the museum there, and now has a permanent display. So they've helped get a lot of traction, and we have Zoom calls every Friday. Of course, different members talk.
Yeah.
And but on Fridays we have a Zoom meeting whereby we pass any new information. Usually we're talking amongst ourselves through the week, but then every Friday we're trying to let the team as a whole that calls in know where we are.
Yeah.
And when we think about the goal line, the 100-yard goal line, we'll tell you that we're on the 99-yard line with inches to go.
Right now.
That's the way we feel.
Well, I hope it works.
Yeah, so do I. It's been a long time.
You got 1% to go.
Mhm.
So, well, either way, again, I appreciate your time, sir. I appreciate you taking the time to come sit down and talk to me.
Okay.
And we're all rooting for you. And I think that it's going to work out. And you got a great team, and you got a lot of great people that got your back, that are trying to work to to help support you.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously you guys have my contact info. You ever need anything from me? If there's anything I can do, I mean, I probably don't have as many connections as a lot of those folks at the Pentagon do, but I'm happy to help in any way that I can, obviously.
Come by the house and visit a piece of history.
I will.
Okay. All right.
Will do.